Hi everyone, so finally here it is. This is my everyday makeup look tutorial. First, I'm starting off by hydrating my face with the Morphe setting spray. I'm just spraying a little bit of that to prep my skin for the foundation. I really don't like the feeling of my face being too dry, so I really like to spray my face with some setting spray or setting primer. I also moisturize my face with some lotion beforehand. First, I brushed my brows off with a spoolie, brushed off my hair so that way they can be nice and neat. Now I'm just filling my eyebrows in with the Wet n Wild eyebrow pencil. I usually use the Anastasia brow pomade, but I couldn't get to the Sephora nearest me. It's kind of out of my way, so this was the closest thing I can get, and it actually works pretty well. I like to outline my eyebrows first, and then I'll go ahead and fill them in. So as you can see, I like to fill them in and then brush them with the spoolie just to spread out the product. This eyebrow pencil is a little bit, I don't know if to say heavy or a little bit dark, so you have to kind of work with it and brush it in as you go to make it look a little bit more natural. I usually like to do my eyebrows first before I put on any foundation. I mean, there's no right way to go about it, but that's just the way I like to do it. Just because I like to clean it up with concealer afterwards, and I think if you clean it up with concealer after you put on your foundation, it can really make the concealer stand out a little bit more than I like to. So just doing the other side. I do believe there is one eyebrow that looks better than the other, and I think this eyebrow always looks a little bit better than my right eyebrow. I don't know why, but it really does. So as you might be able to see, they're both not really even, but once I start to carve the eyebrows out with my concealer, in a few minutes you'll see that they will look a little bit more even than they do right now. So I'm just evening them out, making sure that they look a little bit even. I'm actually using the mirror that looks a little bit, that you can actually see a little bit closer to your face. So I can't really tell that they're uneven, but in a few minutes I will be able to tell, and I will clean it up and fix them. So now I'm using a Rimmel concealer. This is my first time using a Rimmel concealer. It works pretty good. The only thing I don't like is that it doesn't take a lot of product out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, carving on my eyebrows, that's a good thing. You don't waste a lot of product, and it cleans up pretty nice. But once I start concealing underneath my eyes, I like to conceal with a lot of, I like to use a lot of product. So, bad and good, but so far so good. I usually use the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. That's my favorite one, but I actually wanted to use a different product this time and try something else out, and I honestly do like it. So once I have it carved out, I think I'm looking for my Morphe sponge right now. I'm wondering where it is. I know it's kind of hard to see. I'm sorry, in the next video, I'll put my camera a little bit towards my face. I'm just honestly looking at the camera to make sure that, that I'm blending it. I'm sorry, I didn't use my Morphe sponge to blend it out. I used the Beauty Blender. So I'm just blending that out. I'm most likely just making sure that they are both even. And now I'm just using a concealer brush just to brush that out and blend it in. So as you can see, they're both not really even, but later on, I'm definitely going to fix them once I put my foundation on. So I'm still fixing my brows. It does take some time. I will be doing another video that'll take a shorter amount of time to do your makeup. This is just showing you how I literally do my makeup pretty much every day. Yes, if you do want to do your makeup pretty neat, you will have to wake up a few minutes earlier to do your makeup or spend a little bit of extra time. I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to hear that, but it is true. It does take a few minutes to do your makeup. So now I'm just using the Wet n Wild foundation to and applying that on my Wet n Wild sponge to blend that all out. I used to use the beauty blender all the time. It still is great, but I found the Wet n Wild and it's so smushy and it's so I can't even find the word right now, but I love using it. It feels really good on the face. It's really soft, really bouncy. So I think it's I don't know if to say it's a dupe for the beauty blender, but I think it's a really good product. So I think it was only like $5 or $6, which is not bad at all. You can get 4 of them for the price of 1 beauty blender, so I highly recommend it. So I'm just applying the foundation all over my forehead. It's obviously not the same color as my forehead. I think my forehead is a little bit darker than my actual skin, but you always want to blend that out underneath your jawline, especially to not make your foundation look like you have a mask on. So I literally put it all over my skin, blending it out. So I do take some time blending it out. So there you go. You can see that I'm blending out under my jawline as well. So now I'm just using my Patrick Star eyeshadow palette by MAC. That one has a lot of browns. It has like 4, I want to say 2 different browns, 1 gold eyeshadow and 1 burgundy. And I usually use that neutral brown color there. I don't know the exact color, but I'll write that down below as well. I pretty much use that on a daily basis. I love that brown. It's not too light, not too dark. That one, my trick is if I don't have a bronzer, I totally use my eyeshadow. If I forget or if I don't want to carry my big bronzer palette, I definitely use my eyeshadow to carve out my nose and to contour as well. So that's my little tip. But for now, I'm just using that as an eyeshadow. And I usually use this brown. It pretty much matches with everything. You really can't go wrong with brown. So I'm really trying to blend that out. I think the best makeup brushes are your fingers. So I use my fingers and the brush to just blend that out. The fluffier the brush, the better, especially for your especially to blend. So now I'm just using my Rimmel to conceal underneath my eyes. As you can see, there's not a lot of product, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you can obviously always layer it. And my son is kind of reaching for it, so I kind of had to do it pretty quickly. So there, I'm just using my Wet n Wild beauty sponge just to blend that out underneath my eyes. I do have some creases underneath my eyes, so I do spend a little extra time underneath there. I put it on my nose as well, just to highlight, and on my chin. I usually put a little bit of more concealer, but Landon, my son, was reaching for it, so I was like, okay, here you go. I had to close it up and just give it to him and move on to the next step. So I was going to use my Laura Mercier, but that one's a little bit too white for the camera. Maybe next time I'll use it. I'm just using the Wet n Wild contour palette. So it has a well, it depends on they have different colors there, but I use the yellowish color to set underneath my eyes and to clean up, and then I use the brown color to contour. And I am pretty heavy-handed on the powder. I like to highlight underneath my eyes a lot. And that palette is pretty big. I do have to get a new one because after this video, my son broke the whole entire thing. So I pretty much have to go and get a new one. So if I don't use it in the next video, I'm going to link it down below. And I'm going to just use the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So now I'm just curling my lashes before I put the mascara on. I usually like to curl them before I put the mascara because if I curl them after, I feel like it's going to take off a lot of the mascara and it won't look as nice. So I always curl it before. I have just a little bit of eyelash. I usually don't apply falsies unless it's a special occasion. It does take me a long time. That will take a much longer. I know everyone's blessed with these long eyelashes, or you can now install the extensions, but I honestly don't really like the feeling of the fake lashes, so I just apply a few coats of the mascara and it looks perfectly fine and natural and it feels great. And now I'm just going to, most likely that was my son, sorry. He's just messing with the table. He likes to play with all the products and touch everything and drop everything. He's at that age, he's almost 2. So now I'm just taking a very small angled brush to place some eyeshadow underneath my bottom lashes. I usually I'll say 50-50. Half the time I won't put any, half the time I do. It just really depends on what mood I'm in. I usually don't put mascara on the bottom lashes. I don't know, I don't like how it looks on me. I know you're supposed to, but I really don't like how it looks on me. So I just mainly do it on the top, and I put the eyeshadow underneath my my bottom lashes, so that way it doesn't look so pale. Alright, so I'm using that same palette. I'm going to use the brown color to contour. I'm just using the stippling brush to contour. And you just got to blend all over. the contour areas on the hollows of your cheekbones, and just really blend it out because you don't want to look like you smeared mud all over your face. It's really hard to find a really good color to match your face. I usually like I don't know if to say orangey, but I like a warmer brown to contour with. I don't like the cool brown. I think it just, it makes my face look really gray. I don't like how it looks. So anyway, contouring the hollows of my cheeks, on my forehead. I feel like I have a big forehead, so I like to contour to make it look a little bit smaller. And on the side of my face, so that way it doesn't look like I skipped over and it looks a little bit more natural. I like to contour on my jawline as well and blend that underneath so it can make the face look a little bit thinner. And down my neck. So I'm using the same yellow shade to clean up underneath the contour. The good thing about this sponge is that it has a flat surface on it, a flat side, so that way you can just clean up. It makes it very easy. I'll leave it there for a little bit to bake, just to highlight a little bit and make it look a little bit more clean. You obviously don't have to leave it there, but I like to leave it there for a few minutes and then brush it off and blend it in a little bit more so it could look natural and not have such a sharp line. So, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes. And now I'm just taking a smaller fluffy brush. I think I'm using a Morphe brush just to contour my nose and make it look a little bit thinner. The contouring the nose can be a little bit tricky. You do have to blend it out a lot just to not make it look like it has too harsh lines going down the side of your nose, because it can look really funny. So I usually contour my nose and then I'll blend it out with my finger or get a bigger fluffy brush and just brush the side so it can look a little bit more natural. I'm using another Morphe brush. I can link the Morphe brushes below that I'm using to actually brush the yellow part off that I used to clean the sides of my cheeks with. And now I'm using a Wet n Wild highlighter. Their highlighters are so great. They're very affordable and they literally blind you. They're so pretty. I can link the color down below as well. I know they have a few colors, but this one is my favorite one. It's like a gold, rose gold color. It's probably probably hard to see on camera, but I promise you in person, you will blind someone. You can always spray some setting spray on the spray just to make the highlight pop a little bit more. So I'm putting that on the tip of my nose, in the middle of the bridge of my nose, and on top of my contour. Now I'm ready for the lips, so I'm going to be using Joseph color. I don't remember the color, to be completely honest, but I will link everything down below, I promise. I don't know colors of everything, but now I guess I have to start learning. So it's a pretty brown color, and I have a Smashbox lip gloss just to top it off. And they're both neutral, so it'll be perfect for every day. This one is a very light brown. I wouldn't say it's dark at all, so it definitely will show, and it is a little bit matte. You can layer it, of course, and you will definitely see the color. This brand you can find in Ulta. You can see the color there. It's a very matte, but it's very comfortable. It feels like a mousse on your lips. And now I'm just placing the lip gloss on top just to make it look a little bit more shiny. Lately, I've just been with the gloss I've been wearing a lot of lip gloss. That's just what I've been feeling lately instead of the matte. I've been liking the glowy look. So now I'm just spraying my face with the setting spray just to melt the foundation and melt my makeup in, set everything and make it look nice and glowy. And there you are. There you have it. That's my everyday makeup look. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be definitely linking everything down below. Bye.